I call this meeting to order at 6:14. Can I please have a roll call?
Yes, Madam Chair. Chair Daniela Salafans,
Here.
Vice Chair Dean Mares,
Present.
Commissioner Hector J. Garcia,
Present.
Commissioner Orlando Cáceres, Commissioner Cindy E. Cantu, Commissioner Mike Barron, Commissioner Jerry Garza, Commissioner Regina Portillo, and Commissioner Adolfo G. Martinez.
Present.
Madam Chair, for the record, you do not have quorum at this time.
At this time. So I cannot make the motion to excuse the commissioners that are not present.
That's right.
So can we stand for the pledge of allegiance?
Okay, sir.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chair, I would ask that we go into recess and await the arrival of one of our other commissioners that's coming. Stand in recess.
We stand to recess.
Right. Okay.
Le dijo que venía, okay.
Yeah, he's on his way. He's at Jackman.
Así es.
Ready?
Ready.
Madam Chair, let the record reflect that Commissioner Jerry Garza has arrived.
Yes. We have one.
Yes, you do.
Okay. So, okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion to excuse those that
Motion
are
to
absent.
excuse that those are, the commissioners are not present.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Need a second?
Second.
Second? ¿No fuiste tú?
I made a motion that.
Oh, you motion.
You
Okay,
motion
then second. Okay, second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then can I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 6th?
So moved, Madam
Second.
Chair.
Okay. Are there any citizen comments?
You do have some cards.
I have two here.
You have two
Madam
cards, and I
President,
believe they're
vote on that.
related to some of the items.
Wait, the vote on
Ah,
minutes.
okay.
All those in favor,
All those in favor?
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And? Those don't.
Motion.
Motion to
carries.
approve. Okay, now I have two cards.
That is correct.
Right.
You have two cards for citizen comments, and I believe they are tied to agenda items.
Okay,
So either now, you may bring up now, or at the time when the public hearing opens.
The time of the hearing.
well, I guess with the public hearing,
Do we have any citizen
Open.
comments?
we don't have any citizen comments, right?
No, no, ma'am.
Motion to open public hearings, I'm sorry, postpone public hearing 6A.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to open public hearing 6B.
Just for, I just want to ask, these cards that I have, does anybody here with 6A or 6B? I have oh my God. Santos? Okay, are you from 6A or? You are?
Yes,
For 6A?
yes, no, I'm against it.
I don't know, Mr. Santos, the commission has postponed the item on 6A
Oh, okay.
for the next meeting.
For the next meeting. And I have a Jorge Saldaña. Are you for 6A? 6H? Oh, okay. I just wanted to
Make sure.
make sure.
So, motion to open public hearing 6B.
Second.
Okay. Amending, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so start hearing. Amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning lot 1, block 1, Peña Plat, and approximately .40 acre tract as further described by meets and bounds in attached exhibit A located at 8207 and 8209 San Lorenzo Drive from R2 multiple family resident district to B3
6B.
community business district.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant is going to be Juan Alfonso Peña as the owner, Francisco Ramos as the applicant and representative. The property location is Lot 1, Block 1, Pena Plat, an approximately .40 acre tract as further described by meets and bounds and attached Exhibit A, located at 8207 and 8209 San Lorenzo Drive. The zone change request is from an R2 to a B3. The proposed use is for commercial. The letters sent were 12, and we have none for for and against.
Okay,
Location view, aerial map, street view, zone change signage, zoning overview, future land use, staff recommendations. Staff does not support the zone change for the following reasons. Proposed motion.
This is a public hearing.
this is a public hearing. Is anyone here to speak against this item? For or against this item?
Good evening, Commissioners. Francisco Ramos with Ramos Engineering. We're here to speak for, of course, for the project. It's right now it's in R1, I believe. We're going up to B3. We did put in a plat, a preliminary plat already for a portion of the zone change. One portion is already in the Peña plat. Lot 1, Block 1. We submitted a plat for Peña plat number 2 because he owns both lots. He's already running a business on one of them, even though it's in R1. So we're moving up that, we're requesting that zone change so we can kind of be up to date with the zoning that he's currently using it for as a business. And the new plat, it's a vacant lot, but he wants to do, I believe he wants to do a small office building in that lot there, so that's why he wants to go to a B3.
Okay,
Madam Chair, question for the applicant.
Yes.
You say that he's currently using the property as a B3 use?
Yes, he's actually running a business there. So that's why we're like, when I got to the lot, and like he just wanted to do the new plat as a B3, and I advised him, just the whole area is in R2 or in R1, so we do need to move all like both those lots up to a B3.
And question for staff, the item, the area that we're looking at, the vast majority says it's unplatted, and he's got M2s, B3s and B4s kind of in the vicinity, and this street is an industrial collector?
That's correct.
So all of this in front of him is, I'm sorry, M1 in front of him. He's got M1 around him, this lot is an R2, and he wants to go to B3, surrounded by M1.
That is correct.
And I wanted to add that we didn't want to go up to an M1 just because he doesn't want heavy vehicles on the property, and that's why he was doing a B3.
okay. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
He has him all over the place except his property.
Yes.
You right up against it.
Do we have anybody else to speak for this item? 6B? For or against? No?
Madam Chair, motion to close the public hearing and oppose staff's recommendation and allow for the B3.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Well, I've got a question for staff before we just,
I withdraw my motion for
and
discussion.
I apologize, I'm trying to get my bearings here on this. So going back to what Commissioner Benitez was saying, so across the street is already, is existing M1, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's a big change.
I think the issue is that all that row on that street has not been platted.
Platted.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of up for grab.
They need to do something.
But it's all zoned M1, correct?
That is correct.
And then, of course, his neighbor,
But where he's at is currently an R2.
R2,
That is correct.
except right next door.
From R1,
But there's
going
no-
to R2.
but there's nothing around there with houses.
And what, where it says that medium density residential behind that, what is there right now?
Behind it, it's just open space, open green space. It's got a bit of a creek or drainage to the back.
That's a creek.
It's a creek. So in the planning process, one of the things that the engineer did do, and because it is a creek, he did outline, the floodplain on there, so there, you know, he recognized that there is a creek there too, so they have to take that into account in their development.
All industrial around it.
It's all industrial.
And is there any other, R2s in there besides this?
No.
No.
It's, kind of an island of R2.
So this is kind of the sore thumb sticking out here.
Sore thumb.
And and staff's reservations about this is, you're recommending then a conditional use permit?
No, we were just recommending denial of.
Oh, so complete denial.
Right.
On the basis of?
So we had a couple of issues. First of all, the B3 would create a little bit of an isolated zoning district. Number two is in the commercial type uses, you kind of get a lot of traffic with the mix of passenger vehicles. So because you're surrounded with the M1 and the big 18-wheeler use, traffic, and it is industrial collector, staff had a bit of a concern, especially with the mixing of passenger vehicles with 18-wheelers. So in the proposed use of an office, that's the kind of traffic that you're attracting. So that was kind of staff's. And it doesn't.
But don't you think that R2 stands out more than the B3?
It does stand out, but again, staff was looking at the proposed use that they're coming forward with. And also the comprehensive plan does recommend that it stay as an R2 or multifamily.
Even though there's an M1
That is
all
correct.
around?
That is correct.
With the new ordinance, you can't have anything around it.
Okay, so you're okay with residential going in there, but business, not so much.
Well, what,
So, Madam Chair, the new model should be, that don't make no sense.
exactly, exactly. So,
That's one of those things that make you go, okay. All right.
that's right.
So my motion again
Yes.
is to oppose staff's recommendation and approve the B3.
I again second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Motion passes.
And opposed?
And one opposed?
Yeah. As long as it's directing some of the guys, I'll call you on.
Mo-
As if they don't have offices in those warehouses
Most-
that
Right.
have floors.
Motion passes.
Madam Chair, motion to open public hearing 6C.
Amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by authorizing the issuance of a conditional use permit for a mobile home dealer sales only on approximately 5.1 acres as further described by meets and bounds in attached Exhibit A located north of Facultad Boulevard and west of US Highway 83.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, applicant is HAPO Holdings LLC owner, Boras Nance Engineering is the applicant, Rogelio Baldasso is the representative. The property description is approximately 5.1 acres located north of Facultad Boulevard and west of US Highway 83. The zone change request is a conditional use permit for the proposed use of a mobile home dealer sales only. Letter number 4140 against 0. A little background on this is on March 3rd of 2025, the City Council made a motion to approve the final reading of Ordinance 25046 for the request zone change of a B1 to a B3 commercial business district zoning. Ordinance has not been executed as of yet. The original application for the zone change request was a B1 to a B4. However, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended denial of the B4 zone change and recommended a B3 zone change instead. Therefore, the request of the zone change moved forward as a B3 to City Council, which got approved but has yet to be executed. Location view. Aerial view. Street view. Zone change signage. Zoning overview. Future land use. Staff recommendations. Staff supports the proposed conditional use permit and the proposed motion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Wayne Nance with Porras Engineering. Commissioners, we agree with staff's recommendations and moving forward with this. As they explained, We did come here before, a couple of weeks ago, to try and get a B4. Staff recommended to go with a B3 and a CUP to better control it, and that's what we're here presenting today.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
What are the wishes of the commission?
Madam Chair, question for the applicant. Mr. Nance,
Point.
just a quick question. You read through all the conditions for the proposed
See?
Yeah.
CUP, and you're okay with all of them?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Motion to close and go with the recommendation of the staff.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appreciate it.
Aye. Motion passes.
Motion to open public hearing 6D.
Amending the zoning ordinance
Second.
map. Second? Amending the zoning, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Motion carries.
motion carries. Do we have to do it by each one though? When you're closing it, but not when you open it?
Both. Open and close.
Oh, because last one we didn't do it.
Open and close, we did.
16, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning approximately 2.6 acres as further described by metes and bounds, and attached exhibit A located north of Wright Ranch Boulevard and east of Cuatro Vientos Road from R1A to B3.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the record. Applicant is 4V Holdings LLC, owner, Porras Lands Engineering is the applicant and the representative. The property location is approximately 2.6 acres located north of Wright Ranch Boulevard and east of Cuatro Vientos Road. The zone change request is from an R1A to a B3 and the proposed use is commercial. The applicant has not identified the specific proposed use. Letter sent were 24-4-0 against 0. Location view, aerial view, street view, zone change signage, zoning overview, future land use, staff recommendations, staff supports the proposed zone change, proposed motion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Wayne Nance again, Porras Engineering. We're in support of the zone change as well, and we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Commission?
What are y'all gonna build there?
They're hoping to put a convenience store.
Convenience store?
That's what they're hoping for.
How convenient.
What are the wishes of the commission?
Motion to, just call for the, those opposed.
Oh, do we have anybody to speak against this item?
Motion to close the public hearing and support staff's recommendation for approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to open public hearing 6E.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, here's it. Read it.
Yes.
6E, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by authorizing the issuance of a special use permit for a restaurant serving alcohol on Lot 1, Block 1, Alexander Commercial Subdivision, Phase 14, located at 1119 Fenwick Drive, Suite 201.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant, we have the Sosa Had Enterprises as the LLC owner, Valbury Foods Enterprises LLC as the applicant, and Francisco and Marisela Vallejo as the representative. Property description, Lot 1, Block 1, Alexander Commercial, Phase 14, located at 1119 Fenwick Drive, Suite number 201. The zone change request is a special use permit. The proposed use is for a restaurant serving alcohol. Letter sent 16-4-0 against 0. Location view, aerial map, street view, zone change signage, zoning overview, future land use. Staff recommendations, staff does not support the proposed special use permit for the following reasons. Proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone wish to speak for or against this item?
I'm here for Mr. Vallejo. He's my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law.
Can you come forward?
Yes,
State your name.
thank you. My family's, no one was available, so I offered to come and support them. They're opening a restaurant in Fenwick. On the address is
Your name for the record?
I'm sorry?
Your name for the record?
Martin Briseño. Sorry,
No worries.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. President.
sorry.
That's okay, it's the name.
just the name.
And, well, I know that they denied the permit or but it's only by a few. I think they're off by 12 feet from the residential area. The little bit I know about what they're trying to get the issuance of a permit for liquor, it's a very minor, it's gonna be like 1%, 1.5%. They're opening a restaurant, a health restaurant, a healthy food restaurant, but they're gonna be doing some like mimosas for certain.
Wine or,
Yes, it's gonna be a minor, small amount of sales in that area. And they were hoping that they can approve it. Robert and Maricela and Francisco, they're out they're in Washington DC training to open this restaurant in the next couple of months. And I was the only one available, so I don't know what else. I support the idea. I've seen the operation. It's a really cool, setup. So have no idea what else I can say in support for them.
okay, thank you, Mr. Briseño.
Yes.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody want to speak against this item? No?
Madam Chair, some questions for staff. This is already an existing restaurant?
No, this one is brand new.
This is next door to Mulas,
It's in the same
the same
complex.
complex.
Yes,
And there's already a bar there as well on the corner, right? Las Barricas, it's currently closed?
I believe so.
And do those both already hold some type of liquor license?
They had a SUP.
I believe the other one, Mulas, that's the next item on the agenda.
Mulas is the next one.
Yes.
Okay, so the Barricas is the one on the corner, and that has a special use as well?
I believe
had
that,
it.
yes, it does.
Had it, I don't know if it's open,
But it had a wine,
It had a
but
wine.
but a wine or beer and wine?
beer and
Yeah.
And is that the request here, just beer and wine, or is this
Well, it would be alcohol, whatever.
alcohol?
Yeah.
Just alcohol,
Just alcohol.
altogether?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes?
So let me understand this. You could have the same shopping center, but if one's on the corner and one's further away,
That is correct.
you can place one business at a competitive disadvantage just because, even though they're in the same shopping center, but by virtue of the distance of work.
That is correct. That is
Is
correct.
this to a church or a school?
Right.
Is that correct, the feet,
Yes.
what, that he was talking about was 12 feet or something, the
It's 12 feet.
discrepancy?
It is 12 feet.
12 feet.
Yes. Staff measured it with our system, and it's 12 feet.
But this is, Madam Chair, for staff, this commercial property is on a major,
Conductor.
thoroughfare, right? Or a,
Yes,
at least a major arterial or.
that is correct.
Bartlett.
Bartlett, right? And in
Bartlett and
Fenwick,
Fenwick.
there's a creek and a drainage, that separates that. There's another commercial business on that side of of this particular complex, and then you have some apartment complexes that are southwest of them, and then the Summerwind is southeast across the street.
That is correct. So staff measured to the nearest residential, which would be the apartment complex.
The apartment complex.
That is correct.
As a crow flies, not around the corner or
Oh, it follows from the door, and then it follows along the property line.
along the property line, but it doesn't go out to the street, go down the street, come around.
No. Nearest property line.
Just as if I was stumbling home after
Yeah.
After going to that place.
that place. Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
And there is already an existing, conditional use permit or special use permit for that corner establishment
I
For
believe so.
Barricas, yes.
for Barricas.
This happened with the,
And it's 12 feet?
12 feet. Yes, on the staff report, we've got it,
Spirit of the law.
Let's see
versus the
here.
letter of the law.
Well, this is where regulation gets the bad rap. Stuff like this.
we had the same situation with the shopping, it's not there,
288
but
feet, so it's 12.
It's 12.
in the shopping center where all the other restaurants across the street of Alexander are, well, they're already investing their places to eat, you know, but what are the wishes of the commission?
Madam Chair, just, I mean, again, always trying to err on the side of what the regulation is, but I've always said there's a difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And I know the intention, we're far enough away, we're on a major arterial, there's plenty of buffer, I think. Motion to close the public hearing and go against staff's recommendation and approve the special use permit.
I'm gonna second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tito?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay,
about the health food. Yeah, I don't know about the health food, but the alcohol has, okay.
motion passes. Motion passes.
Motion to open public hearing, 6F.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay. Yes, 6F? Amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by authorizing the issuance of a special use permit of a restaurant serving alcohol on Lot 1, Block 1, Alexander Commercial Subdivision, Phase 14, located at 1119 Fenwick Drive, Suite 104.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, the applicant is Sohara Enterprises LLC. The owner is Mulas Authentic Mexican Cuisine LLC. Applicant is Christian Castro, representative. The property description is Lot 1, Block 1, Alexander Commercial Subdivision, Phase 14, located at 1119 Fenwick Drive, Suite number 104. The zone change request is a special use permit for the proposed use of a restaurant serving alcohol. 16 letters were sent for 0 against 0. Location view, aerial view, street view, zone change signage, zoning overview, future land use. Staff recommendation, staff does not support the proposed special use permit. Comment continuations. Proposed motion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone wish to speak for or against this item?
Hello. Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. My name is Christian Castro. I represent Mulas Restaurant. My coworker, Mario Martinez, General Manager.
Yes.
And we're here to respectfully ask for the approval of the special use permit. We've been in business since 2018. We started as a food truck, grew to a food truck at Golondrinas, and then onto a brick and mortar where we're at, and we wish to implement now alcohol with our food that we serve.
Okay.
I know we have the same situation as the previous applicant.
Yeah.
We're actually right next door to them.
5 feet, 5 feet.
Are you 9 feet or?
5 feet next door.
Madam Chair, just a quick question, and you all are already open, you're just.
Yes, we've been
trying to get
open already like 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
And you haven't had any alcohol?
No.
beverages?
No.
No, pues qué malo.
They have it, it's not. They bring it there.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody to speak against this item? No? What are the wishes of the commission?
I still have a question for staff. Again, same concerns, right? Just distance. This is,
Distance, 5 feet on this particular case.
it's 5 feet, no?
Pardon me?
They're short 5 feet? On this one?
This
Or
one?
25 feet?
25.
This was a little bit,
It's a little
Further.
A
closer.
little bit closer.
Sir, closer.
It's a little closer. The other question I have is parking. Given that we're doing the SUP for the other and this one, and then Barricas is still out there, even though I think maybe
I think it's closed.
Is there an issue with parking? I mean,
So
does that trigger anything?
So there are some issues with parking. In the prior one, that was one of the comments also on the parking. In this particular case, we didn't include the parking on this one because it's already an established business, so they're already using the.
So then you're okay with it?
You're okay. Got it. So what are the wishes of the commission?
Yeah, a motion to close and go against staff's recommendation and support the special use permit.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against? Motion passes.
Motion to open public hearing 6H. Nope, I'm sorry,
6G.
6G.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning approximately 98.89 acres as further described by meets and bounds in attached Exhibit A located east of Cuatro Vientos Road and Cielito Lindo Boulevard from AG to R1A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant is Road Enterprises, Inc. as the owner and Howland Engineering and Surveying Co. as the representative and applicant. The property description, approximately 98.89 acres as further described by meets and bounds in attached Exhibit A, located east of Cuatro Vientos Road and Cielito Lindo Boulevard. The zone change request is from AG to R1A. Sorry, that's a typo. The proposed, oh wait, is it the, oh yes. Let's use this residential. Oh, yes. The proposed uses for residential, and then the letters sent were 10, 0, 4, and 0 against. This is going to be the location view, the aerial map, the street view, the zone change signage, the zoning overview, the future land use, the staff recommendations. Staff does not support the R1A zoning district for the entire 98.89 acre tract. Staff supports a B3 zoning designation for an area being a 250-foot buffer along the western edge of the tract as it abuts the expressway, Cuatro Vientos Road, which has approximately 17,000 trips a day. Staff supports the proposed R1A zone change for the remainder of the tract for the following reasons. Proposed motion.
This is a public hearing. Anyone here to speak for or against this
Yes.
item?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Miguel Jimenez with Howland Engineering.
And I'm Jacob Garlick, I'm with Rhodes Development.
Representing our client, Rhodes Development. Yes, staff does not support the entire tract, but we're here to, kindly request R1A on the entire 98 acres for residential. The intent of our client, of the developer, is to go completely residential, and just the B3. It's kind of interesting how we can still go residential in a B3, but we start getting into some gray areas on setbacks and things like that. So we would just request to get the full 98 acres as a R1A residential zoning. I do want to point out that the property directly to the south of us is R1A. There's no buffer there, and that's pretty much what we're requesting.
Do we have any questions?
Yes, Madam Chair, for the applicant, the egress and ingress from the property, will that be directly onto Cuatro Vientos, or you're coming off on another street?
Correct. So depending, the next item we have on the agenda is a master plan, and we can look at it a little bit closer, but we do contemplate some accesses off of Cuatro Vientos and potentially also on the extension of Cielito Lindo along our southern boundary. So it's right at the corner of Cielito Lindo and Cuatro Vientos.
I think the issue that staff has is this, right? If they have all residential, there's Nobody wants their house
So you want the entire
Into
thing
you know.
R1A?
Correct.
aquí en the major collector. ¿Cómo vas a poder salir aquí?
I think it's important that we have both, the R1 and the B3 combined.
Ah, they can? Sure. Oh, that's what he said.
But there's some setback issues.
Correct. So if you see our master plan, I mean, we've worked on our master plan. We've done several iterations to address several concerns. I believe some of the concerns is some queuing and also as well as maybe some buffering between the expressway and the residential. We've taken that into account. You know, we're having large backyards. We're also looking at, you know, some walls and other things to mitigate some of the concerns. We've also adjusted the length of the collector connecting to Cuatro Vientos to allow for some queuing and, you know, address that traffic concern. So I think we've taken all those measures and implemented all those measures to account for these concerns. And yes, I mean, on a B3, by getting a B3, we can still build a residential home. It's gonna look weird, you know, they're gonna have a bigger setback on the front, sides get a little iffy, so we just request your support on getting an R1A in the entire track.
Madam Chair, can we have the applicant bring up his master plan so we can see it on the screen?
I'd also like to pass out some flyers if I can, so you can get an idea of what kind of product we offer. We'll see pictures of the walls and whatnot as well. Show you guys.
Thank you. Madam Chair, if I may, and this is for staff, and here comes the new guy to, on these maps, is there any way you could provide us a more global view, just to kind of, or give us a better orientation of where it is in relation to the city?
Yes, we can.
Yes, okay, because,
Understood.
If you have a question for staff on the B3, the buffer or the setback, is that 200 or so, or is that, can
So
that be?
what we were requesting is to have a 200-foot buffer from the edge of the property line in towards the east, right, to provide some buffering. So we could have a gap from the residential to the highway.
But was that just following what the setback is on a B3, or that was just more traffic?
Yeah, it's more traffic, so staff is looking at issues with regards to road noise. This is an isolated area which really doesn't have any amenities, or would not have any amenities from the get-go for the residents there. So that's why staff is proposing a B3 along the highway.
Can you orient me as to where this piece of property is in relation to?
Sure. Yes, let me.
You have a more macro.
In relation to the city, we'll probably that up.
Yeah.
Te puedes meter al Google Maps, lo que hacemos, te metes a Google Maps, pones la dirección y por satélite te ubicas. Así le hacemos Regina y yo. ¿Te vas ahí? ¿Eh?
No, pero que lo hagan.
Can we do it there? Oh, this is in the valley road.
Well, I could see that the subdivision, the yards
Está en la
are
orilla.
against the highway,
The backyards are.
the backyards.
In most of our projects on the roads like that, we build big block walls on those roads to isolate our subdivisions from there. And at the same point to y'all, if noise is going to be an issue and people buying the houses are concerned about that, then we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot because nobody's going to buy those houses. So we try to make sure that they're taken care of because we want to sell the houses. So we do take all those things into account when we're designing as well.
So this right here is Cuatro Vientos Road. This is Cielito Lindo right here. And we're looking at this northeast quarter.
Hit number 2.
So let me
Ya
zoom
se abrió,
in.
no se abrió.
Cielito Lindo.
Okay.
And also, is the setback the issue too? Because, I mean, I'm no engineer, but if I'm looking at this, it looks like there's a creek or maybe a floodplain, flood
Correct.
zone maybe.
We're trying to
waterway.
implement that into a really cool park trail system,
Yeah.
that water feature back there.
Because that's the eastern side, which in effect doesn't allow you to move.
It's pushing us, yeah,
It
we're
pushes
really getting kind
towards
of
the
compacted.
highway,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Exactly, yeah, so in essence, out of the 98, we're only gonna develop 60 acres, because we're locked in
Right,
the
you're
back with the floodplain.
losing on the floodplain.
Correct, and it's just, at this point, for our client, for the developer, it's not feasible to do commercial at this time, it would have to be all residential.
Do you do any commercial too, or is it pure?
No, this will be
is
straight
your
residential. Yes, sir. We do a little
development-
mixed use, we're mainly a full-time residential developer.
Gotcha, thank you.
Madam Chair, question for staff. In the plating process, could we not add some additional language if you needed, if your concern was buffering or distances from the highway?
Well, in the planning process, what would need to occur is that they would have to do the design or redesign based on a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission. So we'd have to redesign to maybe do a large commercial lot, like one of the ones that came in earlier for a zone change. That one kind of they were doing commercial along the highway, and that was more or less around 250.
And then ends.
Right, so again, Madam Chair, so we could go back and give them an R1, the R1A they're seeking, but when they come in for plat, that is where you all would make those recommendations?
No, so if they were to get the R1A zoning, it would kind of, in a way for the development, it couldn't quite work out for them because then they'd have this massive R1A lot, let's say a 30,000 square foot lot with only one home on it because that's all that's allowed. So it wouldn't quite work out for them.
Can we show the adjacent zonings, the exhibit? Is there an exhibit we're showing the?
Yes, there is.
They would have to.
It's in
put
the PowerPoint.
PowerPoint, yeah.
Is it here?
I see it.
Defer this to see the master plan.
I see the adjacent zones. They've got an R1A already
Yeah.
down below.
Down below.
Across the street, catty
Right.
corner.
I think there's several to the south of there as well.
Exactly, so
just keep on-
pretty much our neighbor directly to the south, which is almost the entire, pretty much the same geometry here, to the south of us, it's entirely R1A, there's no buffer, right? And again, worst case scenario, we would go with a B3, I mean, we're still gonna come in
Still
with
houses.
homes.
Still houses.
Our layout, our master plan, and if we switch back to our master plan, it won't change. The only thing that's gonna happen is now I have to push our houses 5 feet back, right? Because our setback goes from 20 feet to 25 feet, because we can still put a house on a B3. And we just don't wanna get into that, and then it's gonna look awkward in the subdivision.
Well, that was my question initially. What is the setback, minimum setback versus R1A and the B3?
So it's, R1A is 20, and B3 is gonna be 25.
25.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 feet noise suppressant.
And not even, actually, it's
We're
making
doing
it
a
worse.
several
because
$100,000 block wall instead.
No, but, and you're making it worse because you're pushing us more to the expressway. It's on the front setback. So our front of the lots, obviously along the street, so if we make it 25 to a B3, we're getting closer to the noise, right?
Yeah, because you're front loading
It's the
the
front.
easement.
So it's even worse on that case. And also our side setbacks, instead of 5 foot side setback, now we have to go to a 10 foot. It's just gonna be very awkward for these lots along the expressway.
So I know noise, is that the primary concern for the staff, or is there another?
Noise is the primary
And
concern for staff.
Noise is primary concern, okay, so for staff. But not traffic or that?
Egress or ingress.
Ingress, yeah.
Well, I mean, there are some issues with ingress and egress, and that comes up when we look at the master plan.
On the next,
On
yeah,
the
on the next
design.
one, okay.
Okay.
I got a question. So would this end up looking like what the situation you have there on Loop 20 and Del Mar just north with those homes next to the gas station? Where the backyards are right on Loop 20?
Oh, like the townhomes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, those are on.
Very-
So would this, if they end up building there, would this end up being similar situation to that?
I mean, it's hard to say based on how, I mean, we don't have a design exactly where those houses are gonna sit, but I mean, based on.
But conceivably, if it's an R1A, you're gonna put a
Yeah,
house there.
it's conceivable.
Those backyards are gonna be right on Cuatro Vientos.
Right, and again, he is correct, in the B3 zoning, B3 does comply with the comp plan just as much as R1A does here, but our position is to encourage that there be some commercial so that there could be a buffer, but he is correct, he can do the single-family dwelling in a B3, he just has to change some configuration.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you, the commission understands the kind of issues that we're gonna face if we accept the B3. It's like, our master plan won't change again. We're still gonna put these residential lots, right, because we're allowed to do so. It's just our setbacks. Now, if the concern is the noise, you're even hurting us more because you're pushing us closer to the noise. We have to be 5 feet closer to, when we're trying to get away from it, right? Build the house as close to we can to the front of the house. So that's kind of the situation we're faced with here. It's just unfeasible for us to even reconfigure.
We're not forcing you, that's the way you're designing it. So don't tell you're forcing us to do something now. You're designing it. Don't throw it's us, no. You're designing it, you can do it differently, that you chose to do that, that's up to you. But we're just looking at what's best for our community.
But the rules would force you in that direction, though.
Right.
Correct.
I got and again, I'm just trying to, for the applicant, just quick, and I certainly don't want to get involved in you know your business, right? But what would be the rationale for not wanting to put commercial on a thoroughfare like Cuatro Vientos?
We are typically strictly a residential developer. There are certain areas and developments. We're out of the Rio Grande Valley, McAllen area specifically, and there are instances where we are starting to do some of those things. We're very new to town, as you're all aware, nobody knows who we are. We're very excited about being here and very excited about the potential we see here. And we're just not there yet. We're not ready to break that jump yet. We're still getting a feel for the area. And
This is your first development?
this will be our first one. I will make a note. We are actively building. So Esperanza Homes is part of Rhodes Enterprises as well. We are actively building 100 homes here in Laredo this year in the following subdivisions: Antler Crossing, Bright Ranch, Wolf Creek, and Villa's at St. Augustine. So there will be 100 homes going up under Esperanza, which is our home building group. So we do all of our own home building. We do all of our own HA, home still, we have our own maintenance and all of our own home like pest controls. We offer that as well. So we're kind of a one-stop shop.
Your expertise are residential,
Yes,
not
ma'am.
commercial.
Correct. So they before I got with this company, they played around, I think, in the commercial a few years ago and kind of backfired. So they kind of stepped back from that a little ways.
Yeah.
But we are looking more into that down the road and doing some things and hopefully in this area as well. But yeah, right now we're just kind of feeling out the markets and whatnot. We're really pushing just strictly residential.
Because if you're planning to put a lot of houses, those people also need a close,
Yes,
commercial area to get some groceries, to get some food. So I guess that's why.
And I think what they were looking at when they chose this location was they saw kind of some growth of the town, and they're expecting as the people come, everything's going to come with it. So I understand that. Yes, ma'am. 100%.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? No? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Do we have anyone to speak against this item? No? What are the wishes of the commission?
Madam Chair, one more question for staff. The adjacent property, how long ago did they receive this R1A that they have? Has this been,
The adjacent property to the south?
South.
That's a tough one.
Is that the Link property?
Pardon me?
Is that the Link?
That would be Cielito Lindo, I believe it's Carranco to the south.
Carranco, which used to be the Link Ranch, right?
I want to say so.
Because I see the big lake there.
I think you're right. Yes.
Madam Chair, for me? So are there, Mr. Hidari, what are the plans there for Cuatro Vientos? Is there any plans for future expansion of Cuatro Vientos on that roadway or anything else?
So we have it in our thoroughfare plan, the extension of Cielito Lindo off to the east.
It's another phase.
It's another.
Yeah.
But you're talking about Cielito Lindo. I'm talking about Cuatro Vientos.
Cuatro Vientos on a widening of the roadway. I don't have an answer to that. There may be some at-grade separation there, or a bridge at some point, but I don't have that information.
But at the moment, it's already 2 lanes north, 2 lanes south.
Right, it's right.
The way it's set up, is that set up to be future access roads?
Yes, I guess we go back to the aerial.
On the aerial.
You have some information?
Yes, if I may, I mean, we've been in extensive coordination with TxDOT. We've seen their schematics, we have their, design files, and we're working, with their, ultimate plan. So they don't intend to extend their right of way or the access roads. The road that it is there now. It's meant to be a frontage road. It even has a curb, typical, highways or loops don't have a curb. So that's the limit that it's gonna go. So all of our developments, entrances, we've done extensive coordination. We've actually adjusted them several times. So yes, to answer your question, it's not gonna expand any closer to the east.
But it is potentially going to be upgraded to interstate standards or to loop standards, similar to the remaining portions of Loop 20.
Right. So there's an overpass coming at that intersection.
With grade separation
Yes.
there. Okay.
There's going to be an overpass, traffic lights. It's going to be a major intersection. I actually have some plans here that I want to show you for our other items. So we have all this coordination and our design and master plan conform and align with their plans.
Madam Chair, I see our traffic engineer and he's got some institutional knowledge since he was at TxDOT, and some of this was here. Just a quick question for you, Mr. Quintanilla. Sorry to get you out of your chair.
Good evening, Albert Quintanilla, Assistant Director of Traffic Safety for the City of Laredo. Yes, sir.
The original plans here are to have a grade separation there at some point for
Yes.
TxDOT, right?
Yes, definitely, yes.
But in terms of as he was saying, that the access roads don't appear to be going east or west at any point, that they're at their max width.
The max right-of-way width is there. Everything's gonna be built between the fences.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What are the wishes of the commission?
We should close and go with the recommendation of RA zone complete, all A. Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hello?
I like the idea.
Motion passes.
Motion to open public hearing 6H.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
6H, public hearing and recommendation of an ordinance for the voluntary annexation and initial zoning of M1 on a tract of land totaling 6 acres, more or less as described by meets and bounds in the attached Exhibit A and known as Annexation Tract 1, located northeast of FM 1472 and Pinto Valle Drive and north of Lampazos Loop.
Yes, ma'am. For the record, the applicant is Jose Luis Saldaña on behalf of Mindsor Properties, LLC. The request is, like as you mentioned, a volunteer annexation, and the proposed initial zoning is an M1 for a 6 acre, more or less, tract of land located at northeast of FM 1472 and Pinto Valle Drive and north of Lampazos Loop. The proposed use is M1. This site is platted as lots 2, 3, and 4, Block 3, Pinto Valle Industrial Park, Phase 1, and it's currently an existing trailer yard. Letter sent 740 and again 0. The location view, the aerial map, the zoning map, future land use map, the survey. Staff recommendation, staff supports the proposed annexation and staff supports the proposed initial zoning and the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone wish to speak for or against this item?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, Andy Gonzalez with, I'm representing Mr. Saldaña and the owners. We are glad that the staff supported, so we're for it as well.
Okay, thank you. And do I have a Jorge Saldaña?
Yeah.
Oh, you have the registration card? Do you have anything else to?
No,
That's it? Okay. What are the wishes of the commission?
Madam
Do you have
Chair,
any questions?
motion to close the public hearing and accept the annexation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Okay, now, review and consideration of the following master plans. 7A, review and consideration of the Bella Vista subdivision master plan. The intent is residential.
Yes, Madam Chair, the applicant is Polaris Office Suites, engineers Daniel Gomez Engineering, Inc. Proposed use is residential, and the zoning for this 184 lot development is R1A and B4. Location view, aerial view, the proposed master plan, staff comments planning, continuation, fire and parks and leisure, and the proposed motion.
Strip annexation. The old fashioned way.
Anyone to speak it for?
Yes. Good evening. I'm Daniel Gomez, the project engineer for this master plan. I want to make just a comment. I agree on most of the comments. I just want to make a clarification on comment number 1. This is an update of the previous master plan that we did, that we submitted a couple of years ago. And I honestly forgot to include the buffer zone. And
The buffer zone?
or the, yes.
The 300 foot?
Yeah, the 300 foot. And last time we had 120, and that's what we're trying to accomplish too.
Okay.
If we can meet the 120, that would be really good.
Say that again, Mr. Gomez?
We were trying to leave the 120 no-build zone that we had on the previous master plan, and to have it on this. Is there a way we can see this?
What comment?
Comment number 1.
And so instead of 300, Madam Chair, are you asking Mr. Gomez for a 120?
120, yes. We're building the lots. It's a recommendation 300 feet from the center of the railroad tracks. The last time we had 120, and we're sticking that.
Madam Chair, question for staff. The opposition to the reduction just by ordinance, or?
Well, so the way the ordinance reads, it's a may and not a shall. So it's a may up to it's up to the discretion of the commission. It's a may. So in the previous iteration, he had it at 120.
And your concern is?
Well, it's for the rail. It's because the noise from the rail cars. So he is proposing a buffer. Again, in the last iteration, he did have it at 120, but it's at the discretion of the commission.
Would this kind of apply to, I don't know, traffic safety in a way, or some safety department on the railways? What kind of department can speak on that regarding safety?
On the well, there should be no access to the rail.
Yeah.
To the rail at all.
Okay.
But there are, Madam Chair, no concerns from fire, concerning, chemical spills, rail, I mean, being that it's that close to the rail?
Yeah.
Or derailing.
Or derailing, or anything
Mr.
like that?
Ramirez?
There's nothing in your ordinances or your rules?
We're proposing to put a fence on the property line and also drainage channel, so we're trying to limit the access.
Agreed. But are there any other concerns that fire would have with that distance?
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, I'm asking the fire. the fire marshal.
The biggest for the Laredo Fire Department, no, there's nothing that we're aware of that would require a minimum distance from a residential to a railroad.
Why everywhere?
Yeah, caveat.
The fence is not gonna stop it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the master plan as submitted with the 120 foot.
With what?
With the 120 as requested.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against.
Not, 2?
Three.
3? Okay.
And
So,
you?
yo, también. One against. One against, 4, in favor.
Approve it, just not with the 300.
Motion passes. 7B, review and consideration of the Vista Verde subdivision master plan. The intent is residential.
Madam Chair, for the record, the applicant is Rhodes Enterprise, Engineers Hall Engineering and Surveying. The proposed use is residential. The zoning for this 357 lot development is 8G. Location view. This is the same one that we just went over, aerial view. This is the proposed master plan.
Este es el de
Comments planning.
Cuatro Vientos.
Comment number 5 to 10. 11, 12. Fire, Parks, Leisure, Webb County, Appraisal District, and Traffic Safety. And the proposed motion.
Is the engineer Redford coming forward?
Madam Chair, members of the commission, my name, again, Miguel Jimenez with Howland Engineering, representing our client, Rose Development.
Jacob Garlic for the record.
So, in reviewing the comments, we do agree with most, but we do want to discuss and you know, strike out. We're proposing to strike out and look into comment number 1, just to begin with. So we've done, again, extensive coordination with the City of Laredo, the different departments, but this specific comment is requesting or requiring us to reconfigure our phases of the development and our, I guess, overall layout, because there's a concern on the Cielito Lindo right-of-way, right, to the south. I don't know if we can bring it up. This is the master plan, but...
Aquí. Es este mismo.
Sí. Y aquí.
Acá abajo.
Acá abajo.
Donde van a subir, creo.
Pues según que van a ampliar Capriletos.
So the concern here, though, this comment deals with Cielito Lindo, which will ultimately, this is Cielito Lindo existing. It's going to cross to the east, to the south of our property, right? The issue here is that the extension of Cielito Lindo, even though right here it looks like it's Cielito Lindo should be within our property, we've coordinated with TxDOT and that's not the case. They've sent us, you know, updated design plans, schematics, and they have actually, you know, made the realignment and staggered it to respect our southern boundary. So what we're trying to coordinate and have, you know, the city be on board with is that we don't need to reconfigure our phases. That we're going, our design and our layout conforms with the design that TxDOT foresees, you know, for the extension of Cielito Lindo. In addition to the fact that the entire right-of-way that TxDOT is contemplating for Cielito Lindo and the plans we have is completely out of our property. It's it's to the owner to the south on Cielito Lindo Ltd. So what we're trying to, I guess, request is to remove this comment so we're not hit with it during the one-stop shop process and the platting process, you know, having to reconfigure our phases, and we just want to get the master plan accepted. And again, we are still in coordination. We know Cielito Lindo has to come in. We're actually approaching the southern owner, right, to make sure that if we need, in case we need to get anything from him, to get the city a little bit more of a guarantee or satisfy their concern. That's number 1.
Couldn't you get like from TxDOT like a letter of conformance type? They're not gonna, it's hard to get that, I know.
Yes.
But, and I see this in a lot of developments, especially industrial, but sometimes you can ask for a kind of preliminary letter.
Right.
And maybe show that.
So the challenge here, yes. So I did get, out of today, we've been coordinating, again, we've been in communication with them for over 2 months since we've submitted phase 1, and we've tabled it several times. Today I actually did get something in writing. I have several emails where, so the challenge is they don't have, one of the things the city was requesting, traffic department, planning department, was some sort of official construction plan, preliminary schematic, right? It's just this extension of Cielito Lindo is far in the timeline that they don't have something like that put together. The only plan that they have, which would satisfy the city, that has, you know, it's in title block, engineer, everything, was an old alignment which actually shows Cielito Lindo within our property, sharing half and half. Since then, it's been realigned to respect our southern boundary. So all they can give us right now is KMZ files, design, DNG, and CAD files that we've used, right, for our design. Now, we provided that to the city, and it seems like that hasn't satisfied them. But it wasn't until today, and I have the email right here, that TxDOT confirmed that we don't have any. They kept telling me, hey, yes, we're looking for it, we're gonna get it, we're getting it from our consultant, we'll forward it to you. Today, they confirmed, and I have it right here printed out, that they don't have it, that everything they sent us to today are the latest plans, latest schematics, latest alignments. And they're happy to meet with the city engineering department, planning department. I called Mr. Vidaldi earlier today, and we're trying to get, coordinate a last minute meeting between TxDOT and the city. Just everyone's availability was off, so we couldn't make that happen. But TxDOT's willing to meet with us to, confirm that we're in complete alignment with their plans.
Madam Chair, question for the applicant. What's your aversion to making the swap and allowing for that comment to stay? Is it just because you want to proceed with those phases as you have them scheduled?
Correct. So the reconfiguration, I think, to completely address that comment and their concern is to reconfigure the layout. And pretty much what would need to happen is, I think it's still the idea that Cielito Lindo has to be, within our property, half the road here. So you can see how it affects the lots. So we'd have to reconfigure the whole master plan, roads change. Now, now obviously we don't get the lots we're desiring to get. So it's not that we don't want to, it's like this all was created respecting that layout that we were sent, and that is still being followed, and they're still proceeding in design with.
Madam Chair, for staff and possibly even our traffic director, have you heard anything different than this? I mean, is this?
So we have concerns with item number one. First of all, we do not have, any commitments from TxDOT. We have no assurances or anything of any of those proposed alignments. We have a conflicting approved master plan to the south, which shows an equal distribution or equal share from the north and the south. And what we're proposing is that they provide their prorated share. In other words, the landowner to the north provides half, and the landowner to the south provide half. We have no commitments or anything from the landowner to the south, so they're burdening this configuration, everything to the landowner to the south.
And the landowner to the south, have you had conversations with him where he's objected, or?
We have not.
And from our traffic engineer, have we had any conversations with TxDOT with regards to that?
Question, and can we put a footnote on that if we approve that all this paperwork has to be in place to remove it? That the paperwork that you're saying that to coordinate that has to be placed, has to be approved.
The TxDOT.
Yeah, to do that.
Some more formal paperwork from TxDOT.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Correct. So I think the closest we got to a resolution, or I think an understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Vidal, is to provide the plans or something written by TxDOT, which I think I have as much as I can get. There's no plans. They sent me the exhibits, schematics, design, engineering CAD files, plus a written confirmation. And now, in addition to that, the city was requesting something in writing or a little bit more binding from the southern landowner, right? Which we approached, and he's been completely in tune. And this happened, one of the reasons why, if I give a little bit of a backstory, that the realignment happened was because the southern owner was aware of it and wanted the entire road in his property. And I guess since he was already willing and there wasn't any need to even bring the northern owner, right? I guess, that coordination happened between TxDOT and the southern owner. Now, they're completely aware. If necessary, if that's still the way to go, we will work and push to get that in writing from the southern owner that he's aware and in tune that the entire right of way is within his property. As far as the last section, the pro rata, I know the client is willing to participate. It's just we're in a challenge. You know, the right of way is completely out of our property, but if it needs to get built, they would definitely participate in that.
I think you need two approvals, one from the guy that's gonna get condemned ultimately by TxDOT. I don't know if you guys received, it doesn't seem like you guys have any condemnation notices or eminent domain or anything like that.
Right.
Because right away,
Exactly.
it's not on your property line.
Correct.
But I would want to see something from your southern neighbor agreeing that the road is gonna be completely within his boundary line. You know, do you think you can achieve that? Are y'all in communications or? I mean,
Yes,
we've
approached them, but I mean, we're even open to something like that instead of the entire, reconfiguring our faces and.
No,
that, yes.
that would follow.
The road extension's a benefit for both parties, him and us. So I mean,
For
they
sure.
are on board. But yeah, waiting for this formal.
Correct.
paperwork.
Yeah,
Kind of
and
where
we
we're
even
at.
had that conversation. It's like, hey, this road is gonna come in. It's gonna benefit. So they're even excited about that. It's gonna open up their
Yeah,
development.
but from the city's standpoint, they have a master plan from the southern neighbor showing you both contributing to a road. And that's, I would want the city to be comfortable.
Of course.
Having
And-
an updated master plan. And I'm sure their development, you guys already has their master plan, so, and maybe they haven't updated theirs, but.
And it just happened yesterday. And then it just happens that Howland, the company I work for, we actually created that Southern Master Plan.
You do have that project,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they are our client as well. And it just happens that the last time we submitted a revision to the master plan was way before TxDOT even started updating this alignment, So that's exactly why it shows it on both roads. I can even show you the old plans from TxDOT where they were showing it on both roads. So by the time they updated it, we just haven't had a need to resubmit a master plan. But when a master plan needs resubmittal, I'm sure it's gonna update. It's gonna reflect the new alignment from TxDOT.
Madam Chair, question for staff. Procedurally, if we decided to postpone this item until we could get the items that we're looking for in terms of some type of written statements or some agreement.
So from our position, I mean, we would want some assurances. We would want to seek help from our legal department, our legal staff, so we could get some definite binding assurances from the landlord of the South.
Yeah.
I cannot speak fully on the TxDOT process, but TxDOT at this point, they have not acquired any land.
Right.
So there's a lot of unknowns here. Now, for the city, this roadway is incredibly vital. It's going to connect a lot of property to the east. It's going to provide relief eventually to the sports complex. This is a vital roadway. So from our perspective, I mean, the pro-rata share is the most effective and equitable for all the landowners at this position.
Agreed, but if the landowners both, Madam Chair, to the south are in agreement, TxDOT's in agreement, all we're looking for is some type of written assurances. I'd like to give them enough time to get that done without putting them any further back. I mean, if we give them 2 weeks, maybe postpone it for the next meeting while they could help resolve that.
Again, we would really want some assistance from legal to help give us some guidance on those binding assurances. And then I know we do have other staff are familiar with TxDOT, again, to see what commitments or whether we could get from TxDOT.
Yeah, I kind of worry more about the commitment from TxDOT.
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah.
something in writing.
In
from
writing.
them. If I were the city, it's tough.
I understand. And then staff, again, is very concerned also about pushing this to an adjacent landowner.
Even though the adjacent landowners
But it looks
quite all
like
right
they're
with
on
it.
board.
Even though the adjacent landowner is in favor and okay with this.
I mean, that's a different issue, but I mean, at this point, this is what we have in front of us.
I mean, again, if the landowner is saying, yes, put that all on my property, why would we want?
Oh, right, I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
And that's one of the challenges we've been faced with. We actually don't even know what to ask for. It's like we ask for something in writing, but then we're presented like, hey, we don't know if it's going to be enough. It's like, well, at this point, it's like, what else can we provide? I know if it gets to the point, I mean, the developer, our client, we're even talking about putting up a letter of credit for the cost of their share of the roadway. And I say letter of credit because, again, it's not within our property. It's not within our right of way. So it's either if we can build the road, then we'll build our share of the road. But if not, we can put a letter of credit for the cost of the improvements. That's not the issue. More the issue is our layout, our master plan, and where that road's going. It's not that we don't want the road.
And Madam Chair, I mean, therein lies our concern as well. I mean, if you don't have any assurances from TxDOT or the landowner, how are we to be assured that what the city, in essence, is asking for is one shared, a shared roadway, but that for us, it becomes a critical piece of our infrastructure and our mobility. And so if we don't leave this in here for now, and then all of a sudden TxDOT and the landowner come back and say, oh, well, we never said anything like that. We're gonna plow right through here. And
Right.
you've now created an issue for us. And so,
I think we're not asking too much by
Yeah.
what we're doing.
I'm just, I think the best thing for you all, in an effort to help you, is give you some time, rather than kick you out of the system or deny you, and then push this back further. I think if we just postpone the item for the next meeting while you work with legal and work with TxDOT and the landowner below you to come up with some resolution that could give, the community some assurances about what you're gonna do. But rather than kick you out of the system and deny the
change
the
of
change
it.
on the
that
master
you're
plan,
on.
we could come back, maybe postpone it for 2 weeks
Sure.
for the next meeting.
You want to?
Would that work for you all as well?
Whatever you want to, it's up to you.
Yeah, we're okay with tabling.
You're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, the motion that, Madam Chair, to postpone the item, time certain, next meeting.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor? All against? Motion passes.
Just quick question, clarification on the previous zone change item, did we get all of the entire?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Yeah, that we did, that we took care of that for you.
Thank you.
Okay,
So Madam Chair, question for staff before we move on. Can we take all of those items, A, B, C,
D, E, F, G,
all the way through along with,
9.
as a whole, as a group? Or do we need to read these individually?
That's a good question. There are action items. Legal, what do you?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
For the preliminaries, I don't recall.
Anybody wants to speak to one of them, I do.
We don't wanna hear
You
you.
can take most of them, if nobody's
Okay.
here to speak.
If the passes were to be done at the finals, yes, with the preliminaries.
Yes.
Individual.
I haven't heard that on my end.
Oh, you have?
I would recommend.
That's right.
Individual.
Buy one.
Go on, let's roll.
Okay, consideration of the following preliminary plats and preliminary replats. 8A, preliminary consideration of the plat of Vista Verda subdivision, Phase 2, the intent is residential.
This ties to to the master plan, so no action on this one.
Which one is this one?
Yes,
The 6A?
the 6A is tied to the.
To the master plan?
The master plan.
So a motion,
Well,
Madam Chair, motion,
I'd like to request actually a vote and have our preliminary plat approved, subject to the master plan. It's, so this phase, if I may, this phase is not tied to the area where the Cielito Lindo is. This is exactly why we're submitting this additional plat. It should have been phase 2, and it is phase 2, but because, it's a very time-sensitive project, and we're getting close to our feasibility period, finishing, we really can't waste any more time, and we went ahead and created this plat so we can go up a little bit more, get away from that concern area, and be able to start our development.
Madam Chair, for staff, any concerns with us moving forward on phase 2? I mean, it's out of the areas that we have concerns with. We're really concerned with phase 1 and phase 4.
We would want them to comply with the staff comments.
As long as it comply with the comments, Madam Chair, question for the applicant, any issues with the comments?
So I do have comments, but nothing tied to Cielito Lindo. It's internally within phase 2.
Yeah.
So if we may, we're opening the item. So comment number 1, it says increase the 50-foot right-of-way width of Hunter Loop from a 50 to 60-foot right-of-way. We pull up the plat. Can we pull up the plat? Okay, I think it might help if I put it up. So I'll just put it outside and go to it. So Hunter Loop, that is this road right here. Right, so the comment reads just to go from 50 to 60 foot right of way because I think the city's interpreting it to be, or is requesting it to be, a collector. So we're currently performing a traffic study. And basically, the way the comment reads, it says that it should be a collector because it's providing circulation through and out of the subdivision. Now, if in engineering, in traffic engineering, that doesn't trigger a collector, right? It's just the level of service of the roads, the capacity, the density of the roads, the size of the development, and how many lots or traffic these roads are serving. So we're requesting to keep this road as a 50-foot right-of-way. Another one that really hinders the development, and not only this phase, but the entire master plan, is that they're also requesting no lots fronting on this road. I mean, that's just detrimental to the whole development. What we did do is, at the connection of Cuatro Vientos, it is a 60-foot right-of-way. It's actually a larger right-of-way. It's fairly big, and we taper it as we come into the subdivision. We transition into a 50-foot right-of-way. We did meet several times with traffic department. We coordinated that. We adjusted this entrance intersection road several times. We actually met during our feasibility about 2 to 3 times, and we had discussed this comment. I'm actually surprised that it was now under planning's comments, but we addressed their concerns. They actually told us that we could front it, and now the feedback we're getting from our traffic consultant is that the TIA will show that, right? The recommendations, the findings, and subject to approval of the TIA, it's going to show that we don't need a collector within 60 acres. Again, I go back, it says 100, but we're only going to develop 60 acres, right? Another thing that triggers a collector is several connections to adjacent developments. Now, we're tied to the south with Cielito Lindo. We're not tied to another development, and we're tied to the east with the floodplain. We are providing a connection to the north development, right? But they're also going to have their own connections and entrances to Cuatro Vientos. So it's not like they're going to use our subdivision as a collector road, right, to travel through our subdivision. So we're requesting to strike that comment so we can front the road, and we can also prove that with a TIA.
Madam Chair, so for the applicant, so you want to strike comment number 1 in traffic safety?
Of planning, and there's also one in traffic safety, which is pretty much
the first one, which is the
actually it's not in traffic safety. I do want to talk about number 1 in traffic safety, but I think it's worded a little different. So I think
in planning you want 1 done, one
yes.
1 stricken, and you want.
Correct, and I also want to talk about comment number 2, unless you want to focus on number 1 first.
Streets, okay. Okay, and what's your issue with item number 2?
So number 2 says reconfigure Archer Road as Archer Court as it exceeds 500-foot threshold. So in the subdivision ordinance, there is a requirement. I think the maximum of a dead-end street is 500 feet. Mm-hmm. If I point to our plat, that'd be this court right here. Now, we're just over 9%, I think 10% above the threshold. Right before, but I would like for us not to view it as a dead end. We're implementing these open spaces as emergency exits and open areas for connectivity, both for emergency vehicles and pedestrian, right, walking to the parks. So that's one of the things we started implementing in our master plans, and we have them all throughout the development. Another thing that I want to point out is that our cul-de-sacs, the minimum for a dead end are 60 feet. We're actually making them a little bigger. We're 10 feet. So if we were to go, even to go down, we've even decreased that little threshold that we surpassed with the 500 feet. So again, it's just we're requesting to strike that comment with those things in mind.
Commissioners, any other questions?
No questions.
Any questions for staff? If we can just hold for a second, we lack quorum to take action, so. We'll wait for the chair to return.
May I move on to discuss a couple of items on traffic safety?
Oh, you have some items on traffic safety?
Yes.
Proceed.
So traffic safety number 1 says local collectors intersections are too close to the major arterial. Again, we coordinated this in our meetings with them, and I believe we came to an agreement and common ground. This road, I'm sorry, we've been changing the names so many times. They were offsetted at one point, right? So we had kind of conflicting intersections. We did several changes to our plat to align these, and that was based off of traffic feedback. Another thing that we did is we extended this road, Hunter Loop. We extended it, we made it larger. We put a median to allow for the queuing. So if we kind of look closely here, we're contemplating a median here to avoid traffic conflicts. We're putting a double lane here, a left turn lane, so people are not queuing into the frontage road. So there's going to be a left turn lane. The people coming in wouldn't be an issue, right? There's not going to be anything stopping them. Now, the only concern would be the people trying to get out here. But again, we extended Hunter Loop with traffic feedback to allow for that queuing. So again, this comment again caught me by surprise because we had coordinated these revisions with them.
Madam Chair, traffic is present. Does traffic have any concerns that if we were to strike that?
Concern traffic, traffic, Assistant Director of Traffic Safety. Our concerns are with the lots, the distance there at that intersection. The first place you have a vehicle that's actually backing out onto the roadway, and that distance away from Cuatro Vientos is the concern there. So we would prefer to have that throat distance as long as possible to keep any vehicles from backing out on the roadway and stopping all the vehicles going out. And so for this first phase, it might not be that many homes, but when you add the rest of the homes into that phase, it could become a problem there.
And so, did you all have an opportunity to discuss this before this came forward? And you're
That's
no
why we
longer,
put in our comments.
and this is what came out of that. This is what you have in your comments. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
I mean, we want to address this with traffic department during the one-stop shop as well. I mean, we prefer it to be stricken off. I mean, we've made several changes and revisions to the layout to address those concerns. I know the concern is the people backing out. Now, the driveways in these, we're not showing the driveway locations, but we're not like for example, that lot that Mr. Quintanilla mentioned, that driveway is going to be off of Cabin, right? Which they also have a stop sign, so it's not like they're going to be backing out into this road where we're going to have more people coming in, right? They're going to be coming into the street. Again, it's going to be a controlled intersection where we're going to have stop signs. We have the left turn lane. We extended that throat of Hunter Loop. I think before we had it under 100 feet. Right now we have 170 feet within our subdivision, plus the right of way, right? So we did increase the queuing significantly. Plus, any queuing should be into our subdivision. We don't expect any queuing on the frontage road because we do see that as a hazard. So if any queuing is going to happen, are the people coming out, right? And the queuing will be inside our subdivision, which we see across town, right?
Any, Madam Chair, any other item on this?
The last one is the traffic comment number 2. So that one's tied to planning comment number 1. So if we're allowed to go from keep a 50 foot right of way, it's all local intersections. There's no major intersections, so that one wouldn't apply. And it reads significant intersections along collectors should contain traffic control in the form of roundabouts, right? Roundabouts again need bigger right of ways to fit them in. And again, we wouldn't have any collectors, so that wouldn't apply.
Okay. Thank you. What are the,
Comments for staff. Staff, your concerns are duly noted here. Is there anything in particular that you would want to add?
Well, I mean, this is on this 357 lots, so that's going to generate quite a bit of traffic. They do not have a traffic impact analysis submitted. Staff is concerned. They are proposing to connect to the adjacent land to the north, which is a requirement of the subdivision ordinance. So in the addition of the 357 lots that are going to generate traffic here, we will have some traffic coming in and out from the north. That's why we're asking for those collectors to be able to circulate properly the traffic through the subdivision. The other thing, and again, to continue with some of the concerns that traffic had, I mean, you're coming off of a high-speed highway straight into the subdivision. And then there's going to be some queuing that's going to develop within the subdivision as well of people trying to get out.
And again, our main entrance is going to be off of Cielito Lindo. And Cielito Lindo obviously is a major road. If I would live there, I'd prefer going out through Cielito Lindo. It's a controlled intersection. And again, we are performing a TIA study, and typically I would request comment number 11 to be stricken off. It says submit a TIA. A TIA is only required during the master plan submittal. I don't mind keeping it just because I want to have it to show the findings that a collector is not triggered right within the 60-acre development. We can pull up several developments where it's gone into 200 acres over 500 lots and it hasn't triggered a collector, right? I mean, we're talking about a country club drive, Alexander, big collectors that you don't front it, but they're huge developments. We're coming in with 60 acres, and again, I know we are connecting to the north, but that's only because it's a requirement as per ordinance, right? But they're also going to have their main roads connecting and giving access. It's not like they're going to use our local roads as their main access.
Potentially. Madam Chair, for staff, procedurally, this is a preliminary plat. They're going to have to go through the one stop, and there'll be other opportunities for them to take another bite at this apple and resolve some of these issues, some of the concerns that they have as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. But again, I mean, we would want the comments to remain.
And I'm inclined to let them remain as well. So motion to approve subject to staff's comments.
do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against? Señor Martinez?
Not again.
Is that even
Aye.
the 50 to 60? That's
Everything
staying?
stays until you guys get an opportunity to work that out through the next, your next opportunity at plat, the final.
Yeah, I just want to point out that that just kills the project.
It's a deal breaker.
That's like more than half our lots are unbuildable because we can't front this road.
I'm sorry, because you can't front the lots?
Yes, so
Correct.
another.
Along Collector Street.
Yeah, the main one we can work with the other ones, but the main one, comment number 1 from planning, it says, said collector should be without frontage. That's just, and I can bring up, the coves. Residential lots are fronting 80-foot right-of-way collectors. Ours,
Give me a second. Madam Chair, motion to reconsider so that we can have this discussion about this one item.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair,
Against, Tito.
so the only item that you want us to reconsider right now, you think is going to kill your project is item number 2.
Item number 1.
The one.
No, number 1, number 2 about the front-facing lots.
yes, number 1 and 2 are very important for us, but the one that just kills it is number 1.
Absolutely number one.
Is number 1.
Yes, correct. And again,
Without frontage.
yes. So
It's just that
Basically, you eliminate all the houses on that Collector Street.
and that's basically the language you would want stricken is without frontage. With frontage would be allowable. We would leave it at 60, but I know they have a concern with that.
We're confident the TIA will take care of the rest of that, but the main comment is the frontage part, yeah, absolutely.
Madam Chair, example of something that's similar to that would be 60-foot right-of-way, Shiloh, maybe? Some of the early lots that come right off of Shiloh McPherson that are facing
Puede ser.
facing front, the lots in front facing.
I remember initially Shiloh was kind of, I don't remember.
I have a couple of plats here that are fronting it.
Other places that might look like that, similar to that.
That's a tough one.
Other places where we've made that mistake. So in essence, that's the issue. And we're gonna place, having people back up. I mean, Del Mar Boulevard is 100-foot right away, and you've got front-facing lots there.
And Shiloh is too. Shiloh and McPherson.
Yep.
The
initial first phases.
The first phases are also like that.
He's saying Havana and Backwoods Trail.
Havana and Backwoods Trail también.
We had the same issue there.
And again, we're talking about major roads, Shiloh, Del Mar, but I mean, the closest major road is going to be Cielito Lindo, right? Nothing's going to front Cielito Lindo. These are just internal roads that we don't see causing, that issue.
Or is it only Hunter Loop?
It is only Hunter Loop. So again, we want to support that with a TIA, saying that all these being local roads support the development, right? And even extra space to support additional development to the north. I mean, it's like I said, what triggers it is actually the amount of traffic on these roads, right?
How, Madam Chair, how long before they get their TIA?
So we are, as soon as this goes through, we do have a notion that they'll take about a month, less than a month. And our master plan can't get approved without the TIA, without us submitting the TIA. And then we can't record this plat without our master plan being approved. So it's all tied together.
With the TIA, agregale el TIA.
I'm just concerned that we'll wind up with something like on Shiloh or Del Mar, places like that, Havana.
Decisions.
Decisions.
Decisions. Do we have a motion?
And so, again,
Excuse me, I also have to talk about parks, they're an issue.
with the preliminary plat,
Yeah, they don't have 150 feet of parking.
Can you come forward, please?
yeah, where they have the streets.
I actually do have an issue with this because we were not okay with the park space that they were providing for us, because if they're gonna have a road in the bottom, they're gonna have another road in the front. The park lot they want to give us doesn't have any buildable area. It's all floodplain. So the only option they have in our situation with their configuration is an HOA park. So they would have to agree to have an HOA park because it doesn't fit our standards for parks. Usually you have to have at least 150 feet of frontage to a street that faces the residents, and not just have a little trail that heads to it, because that's a dangerous situation. And if they're going to put that little paper road, I don't think it's ever going to be built. And then eventually we're going to be sandwiched, and our park space is going to be really small. When they have a huge area on the right, and that could be provided, but they labeled it as green space. So if we were going to say that we want access to the park, we'd actually want it closer to the larger portion and not closer to where there's going to be another road.
Okay.
So they need to redraw that area.
I think it's a little premature, this preliminary plat. I know it's time sensitive, but.
I know, it's because I didn't get a chance to make
Got-
a comment.
Well,
during the
that
master
and,
plan.
I mean, and I think the way we're leaning towards the frontage, part of comment number one, I mean, what, does.
Thank you.
To answer Mark's concern is we didn't do the master plan blindly. We actually we do believe to have 150 feet of frontage. I can't. We're not in the master plan anymore.
Postpone it.
Okay. Just do it.
Yep. Madam Chair, I've just given all these items here, and then the fact that we may put a coup de grace on this thing, if we could postpone this time certain, so they can work out whatever issues they still have with parks and with traffic.
Okay.
in an effort to get some of those comments removed. So we're gonna postpone this item. Madam Chair, if I may, that's my motion.
That's
I'm
your
gonna
motion.
second that motion.
Second. All in favor?
I guess we don't have a choice.
For the next meeting.
Thank you.
Right, let's move on.
8B, preliminary consideration of Gutierrez Mine Road plat. The intent is commercial.
Yes, ma'am. The applicant is Jose Julio Ignacio Elena Gutierrez, Engineering Spegwa Consulting. Proposed use is commercial. The current zoning for this one lot development is AG, and a portion is not zoned as it is located in the ETJ. Location view, aerial view, the proposed plat, staff comments planning, comments 6 to 8, Parks and Leisure, and the proposed motion.
Jorge Villarreal with PAC Consulting, we concur with all the comments that planning proposed.
Yes.
That's B, 8B.
Okay, 8B.
Do you have any questions?
And Madam Chair, just, you're okay with all the comments?
We concur with all the comments, sir.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
8C, preliminary consideration of the replat of Lot 10, Block 1 of Pinnacle Industrial Center, FM 1472, Unit 4, into Lot 1 and Lot 2 of Pinnacle Industry Center, FM 1472, Unit 15. The intent is industrial.
Yes, ma'am. For the record, the applicant is FM 1472 Investment, Engineer is Gilpin Engineering. Proposed use is industrial. The current zoning for this two-lot development is M1. Location view, aerial view, the current plat and the proposed replat, staff comments planning, comments 5 to 9, fire, Parks and Leisure, the appraisal district, and the proposed motion.
The next one is also yours. Is it together or no?
Well, they're almost together.
Almost.
I agree with all these comments. So Judd Gilpin representing Pinnacle, agree with all those comments. So.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. D, 8B, preliminary consideration of the plat of Pinnacle Industrial Center, FM 1472, Unit 7. The intent is industrial.
Yes, ma'am. For the record, the applicant is FM 1472 Investments. Engineer is Gilpin Engineering. Industrial and proposed use is industrial. The current zoning for this four-lot development is M1. Location view, aerial view, the proposed plat, staff comments planning, fire, and then Parks and Leisure, and the proposed motion.
So I have one comment that I disagree with. I didn't quite catch the number there. I read it earlier, but it was one of the planning comments. Let me see which one it is. It was one to add another lot. I think it's number 2. Let me see real quick. Let's see. Yes, number 2. That's a comment that I take some exception with at this time. It's a drainage area, and it's not served by this. It doesn't serve this property, so it doesn't need to be part of this plat. It doesn't need to be part of this plat, and we have some ongoing engineering issues there that I don't know why it would ever really need to be platted. We don't need to have a building permit. There's no need that I can think of that would cause it to be platted. And you can own property in the city that's not platted if you don't need to plat it. So long-term, I would think it doesn't need to be platted, but on this particular plat, it would be problematic because there's drainage issues in that area that are changing because of development. So to plat it, we would need to map out the floodplain, which keeps changing. Even right now, it's changing. We've been waiting for 3 years to plat this thing, and it keeps changing on us. And then it occurred to me to just take it out. And right now, we're waiting on a county project, which there's some comment to that effect here. And it's gonna change it again. And it's just been a long time. We've got some acreage there that's just kind of stagnating, and the market's hot. We'd like to get this platted, and we'd like to not have to come back and plat the drainage area.
Greenbelt.
I don't know why we would need to, but if there's a good reason to, we would agree to do that. We would bring it in later, and, you know, we're not gonna not act in good faith with all of you guys. If there's some reason that we can talk about here that we need to plat that, we'll get it done for you, but we'd like to keep this unit moving.
And none of this drainage serves this, any lots platted on, here that you show?
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm sure just unbuildable lot for the most part.
It would be, if we platted it, it would be an unbuildable lot. It would be all floodplain, so.
And so the item you would want us to strike, striking would be number 2.
I think it's number 2, yes.
Motion to approve, subject to removal of item 2.
I second, but,
Espérate,
we have
porque
a,
Tito se levantó.
Oh,
yeah,
Déjale.
short floor.
we have a.
No te vayas, Tito. Déjale. We need your vote.
My motion is to approve subject to the removal of item 2.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
8F, preliminary consideration of the replat of lots 1 and 2, block 1229, into lot 1A and 2A, block 1229, Eastern Division. The intent is residential.
Madam Chair, I believe we're still missing item E.
Ay, perdón. Preliminary consideration of the plat of Legacy Creek subdivision. The intent is residential. Está bien frío, oigan.
For the record, the applicant is Aries Homes, engineers Holland Engineering. Proposed use is residential. The current zoning for this 124 lot development is R2. Location view. Aerial view. The proposed plat. Staff comments planning. Fire, Parks and Leisure.
¿Está alguien de Holland? No lo vi.
Webb County Appraisal District, and the proposed motion.
También.
Busy night.
Busy night.
You earned your check today.
I know, right? Madam Chair, members of the commission, Miguel Jimenez with Howland Engineering, representing Arias. So we concur with all the comments. Oh, I want to say most, but just want to clarify, and this is for fire. I know they're here. Their comment states that the spacing between fire apparatus access roads shall be placed, a distance apart equal to not less than half the diagonal distance. I know we've worked well in the past regarding this requirement with fire department. Just want to make sure on record that we have an opportunity to coordinate this with them, because our site is kind of tied down in geometry. If I can just explain real quick, and I know fire department's here if they have any input. The diagonal distance, I think it's the longest distance, sir? Right? So if we kind of measure this distance here, half of that, it's pretty close to how we have our entrances, and there's very little room for us to even separate them a little more. So just want to, I guess, clarify or see if we can coordinate that in a one-stop shop process, and hopefully, I mean, we're able to come to an agreement with fire during the one-stop shop. That's
What is
my
the comment?
request. The comment again is comment.
1, 2,
Comment number 1.
fire 2.
Yes.
I guess my question is, Dominguez from the fire department, is he asking for the comment to be stricken?
Not so much, because I know we've worked on the past where certain lots, for example, industrial lots, right, they have irregular shapes just like this one. We have trouble conforming to this requirement, so we'll do like the best we can to get that distance, and we're close. Again, just like in that case, we're close, but just due to our boundary, our limits of our boundary, we pretty much can't separate those entrances any much more. We can do as much adjustment as we can, and we're gonna be playing with the lot dimension, but, yeah, if I bring it up again, our accesses right now, they're right here. This is our frontage. So our property goes all the way over here, but we don't have frontage there anymore. So this is our frontage, and our accesses are right there, almost at the edges.
I mean, we're willing to meet with them, right, to discuss it. But at this time, we would like the comment to stand.
And we're okay with that. Just want to
then,
be on
we don't
record
have
that
any issues.
we'll coordinate with them.
Motion to approve, subject to staff comments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against, motion passes. 8F. Ya lo había leído, lo vuelvo a leer. Preliminary consideration of the replat of lots 1 and 2, block 1229, into lot 1A and 2A, block 1229, Eastern Division. The intent is residential.
Yes, ma'am. For the record, the applicant is Kenneth A. Walls, engineers KCI Technologies, proposing as residential. The zoning for this 2-lot development is R3. Location view, aerial view, the current plat and the proposed replat. Staff comments planning, parks and leisure, and the Webb County Appraisal District, and the proposed motion.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners, and staff. J.J. Centeno with KCI Technologies, representing our client. It is that we concur with all the comments.
Thank you. What are the wishes of the commission? Any questions?
Motion to approve, subject to staff comments.
Second, someone?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. 8G, preliminary consideration of the plat of lot 1, block 1, Bun Moreno. The intent is commercial.
Yes, ma'am. For the record, the applicant is Blunt Moreno LLC. Engineers Do Right Engineering. The proposed use is commercial. The current zoning for this 1-lot development is B4. Location view, aerial view, the proposed plat, staff comments planning, parks and leisure, and the proposed motion.
59.
Good evening, Rodolfo Garcia with Do Right. We are representing Mr. Moreno on this, and we agree with all the staff comments.
Thank you.
Motion to approve, subject to staff comments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against, motion passes. Fine. Together.
B, C, that one?
Second.
Did you hear?
What was that?
Motion to hear all together,
A, B, and
9A,
C.
B, and C. Second, Mr. Belmares. Can you read?
Hold on.
Final consideration of the replat of Lot 1, Lot 2, Block 1, Killam Industrial Park, Unit 19, into Lot 1A, 2A, Killam Industrial Park, Unit 19. Final consideration of the replat of Lot 5, Block 1, D&J Alexander Alexander Phase 15, Alexander Crossing Plaza into Alexander Villas at Alexander Subdivision. C, final consideration of the plat of Lot 1, Block 4, Alexander Commercial Subdivision, Phase 15.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Laura?
Motion to approve 1, 2, and 3.
And
A, B, and C. As
10,
read.
consideration of model subdivision compliance.
Right.
Do you want the presentation or the?
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, who does second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
I was about to start a fire.